Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code The Wigan Way, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
So, thank you for joining us this week on the Wigan Way. Just me and you again, Matty, today. Lewis has got some prior arrangements that he's got to keep up with.
Yep. Be back next week.
Be back next week, hopefully. But let's get into it. Trip over to Hull was a good experience, good game.
Yeah.
Good result for the side, 46 points to 4. Sort of shut everyone up a little bit, hasn't it, really? To be honest, we had a lot of talk about always one eye on Vegas. The attack's not gelling. Harry Smith's not ready. He's undercooked. Such and such a body's not ready. French isn't prepared. And actually, in one performance, we've ended up finishing pretty much most of them conversations.
We have, yeah. And I was a little bit nervous, I'll be honest, just because of how Hull have been our bogey side in the past, and they had a fantastic result last week against Catalan. I think you might say something about what sort of side Catalan are, but for them to go in the south of France and demolish Catalans, and then, you know, we've not won there for a while. I was really pleased.
Yeah, it's not been easy travelling to Hull.
I don't think we've beaten Hull under Matty Pete at that stadium. Because if you remember, we lost to them in the pink kit just before we played the final. I don't know if we played them again that year, that's the only thing. We definitely lost to them 2 years ago because Thornley played in the light blue kit, and we lost to them last year in the light blue kit again.
Yeah.
So it was good to just exercise that demon, and that's a place where Pete's won now.
Yeah, another ground ticked off, another element moved on. So let's go into the tries and let's talk about the game itself.
Well, I did have a bit of a question pre-match.
Go on.
Because I was watching this one in the airport, and there wasn't an awful lot on the coverage. It started very late, but you could see what was going on. And there was a bit of a light show. Do you think they were making a bit of an effort to... I know they've got a lot of fans in there.
Listen, it looked full.
Yeah.
I like the fact that to our right-hand side, they shut the top tier. So everyone was down on that first tier.
Oh, yeah.
It looked full. I think it was 15,000. They'd obviously made a point of you could bring a friend for a tenner.
Right, okay.
Or was it 2-for-1 tickets? There was some offer on to try and get more people in. Obviously, last year was difficult for them, and they got a very, very good win. So Hull FC are a big team, aren't they?
Yeah, well, historically they are, yes.
They bring good support in. And if they're bringing that in after last season, if they could have a few successful years...
It's a good point.
They'll be selling that out big time.
It's a good point, yeah. I mean, we've made the comment before about when we were kids, they were never the top team. But you had to be good to beat them.
They were the yard flag.
The yard stick.
The yard stick, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
The yard stick.
One of them days.
They were that...
Compare yourself to them.
Yeah.
If you could beat them well, you were in a strong
really
position.
good side if you could beat Hull well. When they had like O'Mealy and Minchella, even before that, when they were Paul Cook, when they won the Challenge Cup in 2005, that was probably one of my earliest memories of Hull FC was watching them lift that trophy, and they played great that day. So I remember Gareth Rayner on the wing; he was good. Kirk Eamon played there forever.
Yeah,
they had some players like when Joe Weston was quite young. So I think they had, when we were kids, they were a bit like a measuring stick. They were a bit like a, if you can beat these, you're a good side. And, maybe we should get back to that. It'd be good. Hull FC being a genuine big boy of the competition would be nice, especially because their neighbours seem to be up there, at least for now. It would be genuinely nice if you thought, right, Hull Derby is a semi-final, for example.
Yeah, the thing's always been that when Wigan have been at the top, there's always been a St Helens or a Warrington, or even Lee a couple of seasons ago were pushing the force. You had someone local to be competitive with. The best Leeds teams, they probably didn't have that local massive competition.
Well, the early ones would have been driven on by Bradford.
But
talking
7, 8, 9 into 15, 16, 17.
It was Saints who were pushing them, wasn't
it? So they've always been competing with Saints and Wigan in probably since 2008, 9-ish. Just going off rough years there. So
I suppose they had that 1 year where Cass shot up and got to the final. They beat them by 60 odd points, I think, at the Jungle.
Yeah.
And then obviously they demolished them in the final as a revenge. So there was that 1 year, and that's why it felt so exciting.
Again, Cass and Wakey, the year Wakey went down, because them two were fighting for the bottom two. Who was going to stay up? There was big competition around it. I think if you've got someone, I'm not saying they have to be the same city or whatever, but local to you that's competitive, it just makes everything better. Let's get into it.
Yeah, go on.
46 points to 4, this game finished. Really, really comprehensive win in the end.
Yeah.
And there's something I want to talk about. We're going to the first try, and it is Jay Field. And I think he got man of the match, I can't remember.
He will have done. He got 3 tries, didn't he?
Yeah, he definitely should have. 3 tries, a couple of try assists, was brilliant. But if you're actually watching back the highlights, look at his position. And obviously last year it was quite well known that he was carrying a bit of a knock. So he had the rib issue. He then did his hamstring?
In the cup final,
in the cup final.
Saving a try, I may add.
Yeah. But having that knock all last season will have... I'm not saying it will have stopped his play, but you're always conscious about it. And last season it felt like there was a bit of a concern and he wasn't really going full tilt into anything. Just watch his play this year. And so many times already he's setting up really, really close to the markers, really, really close to the play of the ball, and then backing his pace to actually get there as second or third receiver if required. So if that decision changes, and actually we're going to play outside, he can get there. Now this first try starts with the same thing. It's got Field really tight to the play of the ball, and it just holds your markers, it holds your A defender, and just gives Harry Smith a little bit of time, so Smith can take it to the line and get early ball to December.
Yeah.
They do really, really well in December to Wardle, to Marshall, and then Marshall, probably one of the best in the league for this.
For wingers, especially.
Especially for wingers, for kicking the ball back into the field of play. But, like I said, with Field and having that extra bit of pace, backing up on the inside, the ball sits up really, really well. It's a very clever kick from Marshall. It's not end over end, is it? It sort of just floats and drops. So hopefully that's something that he's worked on to help it. Field plucks it out the sky.
The gather was quite nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then gets in under the sticks.
I think for us, we praised Jay Field a lot last year for his defence and for his organisation, and you know, we certainly missed him when he wasn't in the lineup for attack and defence. And for his creativity. He had a lot of try assists. He might not have scored a lot last year, but he had a lot of try assists.
Was it 19 try assists last year?
It was up there, yeah. And there were just the 7 tries. And actually, by the time he got his injury in the cup final, it was 1 try. And so he wasn't grabbing the headlines. Now, I don't mind if he doesn't grab the headlines as long as we win. You know, the ball doesn't care who scores the try. I don't care who grabs the headlines, whatever. But I think he'll want to grab the headlines again. He'll want to get back to that sort of try-scoring form that made him what I thought was an obvious candidate for the Man of Steel. He ended up being second or third in that. But
players like him, players like Bevan French, want to win.
They want to win
the big awards. They want to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
It's not just in team awards. They want to be recognised as the guy.
And I think he'll be happy that he's got a hat-trick in this game. He's got off and running in the league. I know he scored in the game against Sheffield, but he's up and running now in the league. Yeah. A hat-trick. He's on the back of breaks, finishing off breaks again. He's on people's shoulders as they get through. Half a gap.
He looks quick as well. Looks quick again.
Yeah, he looks, and he's still got that organisation. He's still got that creativity. He's still got that actual.
It's probably worth mentioning what Bevan said. Was it in the end of season speeches where he talked about how important Jay was for organising their attack and calling things?
Yeah, I think it was when he first came back. One of the first games he came back, he said, "Look at our attack. Look at how much Jay organises. You don't necessarily see it on the screen because he's maybe sitting back. But if you go to a game and you go quite close to the game, you can hear his voice.
He never stops talking. And most of the time it's in defence, calling people into the right position because he's a little bit deeper and has to
Which is his job.
Message across. But even in attack, and if you've got Harry Smith and him pulling the strings, Harry Smith we'll talk about later, but if you get him pulling the strings... Ian Lenigan said it that he was the cleverest rugby player he'd met.
I thought that was such a wild statement, such a bold statement at that time for someone who's worked with
some greats.
Trent Barrett, Sam Tompkins,
Thomas
maybe
Luluai,
not Adrian Lamb because it was before the time, but it was a good
Sean O'Loughlin
and Thomas Luluai, yeah, and
Paul Deacon,
yeah. I was going to say someone that I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but yeah, some excellent rugby brains. Yeah, some excellent rugby brains.
And he's put
some,
above them.
Some technicians, and he's put Jay Field. And when he said that, it was only a couple of years of Jay Field actually being in the league. So when he said that, he put Jay Field above all of them in terms of a rugby brain. I think, how are you not going to need that in your team? Whether he's scoring a hat-trick or whether he's not, you're going to need that in your team. And for him to be scoring a hat-trick as well, I mean, what a player he is. And I'm glad he didn't get the headlines last year because it means we've still got him. But yeah, what a player.
Again, it's worth talking about in this second one. Something that we started to see glimpses of last season. From that play the ball on the post, Smith and French actually swinging one way. And this is where the try comes. Smith finds French and hits Miskey with a brilliant, almost no-look cut-out ball.
I mean, I want to say, when you line this one up, Forber's got the ball there, hasn't he? We just paused that. But you're looking left and you're thinking, Jay Field, Junior December, Jake Ward, Liam Marshall. They've got heaps of tries between them in the last 18 months. You've got to respect that as an option.
Yeah,
You've got to respect the flat ball to Field and then put it through the hands or crash ball, for instance. You've got to respect that.
Because he can play six as well. Let's not forget that.
Exactly.
He's played six and he's done it for time.
You can't look at that picture and say, obviously going right. I know we do go right, but we've set up both ways. You have to respect that left-hand option. Yeah,
and I have no doubt that Smith and Field are talking to each other saying, they've brought one too many over. I want it.
Yeah, because you've got Jay, Junior, Jake and Liam out left.
You have to go 5v4.
What a threat. You have to have an extra man there. You just have to, otherwise you're going to concede a try.
Yeah.
And so it must be so difficult for somebody like Rapana in this situation
to count up.
I mean, you've got to hope that your defence holds a bit better than that before that, because that's such an impossible situation to be in.
Then, in this try, we do go right. Forber goes right to Smith. And this is the brilliance of it. We're just outside the first post. He's got Tyler Dupree flying on his outside, ready to take the ball on the inside. Luke Thompson's worked hard on his inside shoulder, giving him an option on the inside. And all of that is for one job, and it's to hold Aidan Caesar up. And pin Aidan Caesar still, so Bevan French can be running at the centre, Tom Briscoe. And when he collects this ball from Smith, Smith takes it really deep to the line. You can see Caesar slide across, and he's really trying.
It's basically a 4-on-2.
But it's 4-on-3, 4-on-2 almost.
I think French can tuck that score.
Yeah. Briscoe bites early, so he could have hit Farrell on a short ball.
There's no choice there, Briscoe.
No.
There's no choice. It's basically 4-on-2 because French is quicker than Caesar. So French can score himself. You have to bite in. There's one wrong option there, and it's the intercept. Yeah. He doesn't seem to throw as many of those touch wood.
He's gone a little bit flatter, I think. A little bit flatter.
That one's unstoppable, that try. That was absolutely unstoppable. I know that's what Lewis would have said if he was here. He would have called that unstoppable.
Now that takes it to 10-0. And another 5 or 6 minutes in, we get to the 30th minute, Mago's brought on, something that he was allowed to do, Matty Pete, because, one, we got some points on the board. We've described him as a game breaker.
Mago. Right, yes.
But there's always the risk. He isn't as fit as the other props. I think that's very clear in the way that he plays, and the 10 to 15 minute bursts that he does are impactful, but short. And because of that, you can't really bring him on when you've got a lot of defending to do. You don't want to be using Mago to make tackle after tackle after tackle.
But he's like the drill when you've got an opening already, you just drill straight through.
Yeah.
He's not as effective against a solid wall, but if you've got an opening, he'll punch straight through it and he'll open the game up for you.
And that was it in this game. We're 10-0. There's 8 minutes to go. There's been a lot of minutes put into SASA. They've just lost Lee Sow, who'd been on for less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was a nasty one, that, because you could see that even before Dupree tackled him, he like he'd been shot, like a war wound.
Something's gone there, unfortunately.
And then Dupree was immediately showing good sportsmanship on his feet, waving to the ref to get the trainer on, because that looked like a bad one. Then at first, I thought they were going to try and carry him off. Like when he hopped
I'm glad
off,
they got the stretcher on.
which is what Sevo did, and I'm sure Sevo made it worse in that game by getting carried off or hobbling off.
I don't think you can make it any better. That's the thing for me.
Yeah.
But
that first bit didn't look like it was going to fit Leggy Sow on, did it? When they first brought that thing on, I was like, no way is Leggy Sow going to fit on that.
No,
and then they extended it out. I thought, all right, that makes sense now.
But on that point, obviously you bring Mago on here and you start to get a bit of chaos. There's fatigue.
Yeah.
You've got points to play with. They're a little bit nervous. The Hull FC probably hoping they can go in 10-0.
10-6 would be nice.
10-6 would be nice.
Absolute
maybe we give a penalty away, hope we can kick it and go to 12.
Yeah.
And actually,
you're within touching distance, you're within 2 scores. You come out there with the second half, with your fans behind you, you get 1 score right, you're right in it then, as long as you keep it going.
And to go from this play, the carry before Mago offloads to Forber, and Forber has a little bit of a scoot and goes, who I was impressed with. Mago goes in at hooker, throws it out to Harry Smith. There's not much on, and he just lays it off to Dupree. And Dupree
that will be Jay Field saying shot 1.
Yeah.
It just will. Or Harry Smith will say shot 1, Dupree will take a drive. That will have been Jay Field probably saying shot 1.
And they get out just outside the left-hand post. And this time, you've got December, Wardle and Marshall on the short side.
Against about 5 defenders.
You can see Ellis almost set up at first receiver. So, as a defender, you're thinking, that were our Harry Smith, French field.
Hang on a minute. Why am I looking at Mago and Ellis in the middle of the field at first receiver? Where's all the playmakers? Yeah.
But look, that carry from Dupree leaves the 2 markers, where realistically you probably only want 1 in there. Jordan Rapana's stuck behind the play the ball as the full-back, because he's trying to help out the blind side, the short side, if December gets it and a crash over. And then they're just outnumbered. There's 1 defenders either side of each post.
Yeah.
And you're out there trying to deal with Smith, French, Field.
Yeah.
And Forber so cleverly sees all that and just hits Mago, who does step around the defender. But he's 1-on-1.
He would have scored anyway.
You're backing him to score anyway.
He said that Carl Amo said that, then he said, don't matter about that step. He would have scored anyway.
Exactly.
You're not making that tackle on Mago from close range.
No.
I think the commentators actually mentioned that we'd set up a big play right with all the depth and just didn't use it.
Yeah.
And Ellis there looks like he might score himself if we went out the back to him.
But we'd played out the back a couple of times. But early on we played straight, played direct.
He got his try.
Played out the back, and then suddenly we play flat again, and your fears about what's going on there. And this is what I love. Tries. We mentioned it last week, how big tries are either side of half-time. Just before half-time, even more so. And it's 16-0, and again, if you're Hull, you're thinking, let's just get this game. Let's get to half-time 16-0.
Yeah.
We'll snatch your hands off. Walters come on. We'll talk about Walters in a minute.
Yes.
But again, this same setup. Forber finds Smith at the first receiver. And either side of him, Mago on the inside, Dupree on the outside, committed runs, just holds 4 defenders.
I know it's Harry Smith and not a forward. Like, if this was Ellis, then it would be a bit rugby union.
Yeah.
Be a bit, like what a pod is. Where you've got an option either side. It's really clever. You have your option, first man with the ball, then you've got your option either side with 2 more forwards, and it just means 4 defenders have to deal with it.
Yeah. And then you've got French again, who is now running at Aidan Caesar. Farrell possibly overruns it a tiny bit. I can't be too critical. But then French, something that he didn't do when he first moved to 6 and he started doing in the last few years, puts in the kick behind.
Yeah.
Caesar tries to throw a hand out.
Just deflects it.
Deflects it.
This is when Field is on form, he looks like he's reading everything. Well, he is reading everything, but it looks like everything's coming up nice for him when he's actually reading it well.
Exactly. But look at the position of that. Field was out the back. Kieran and Miskey are dealt with because the winger in the centre for Hull have shot up. So French just says, well, I'll drop it in behind you.
The worst I'm going to get is
probably a 6 again.
6 again, or you maybe get the ball with
goal line drop out.
Not much time.
Yeah. Or Miskey scores, best case. Caesar sticks his hand out and then Field just reacts so much quicker than anyone else. His mind's so much quicker than anyone else. Gets under the sticks. Gets his second try of the game. And that takes it. Obviously, Kieran converts to take it 22 points to 0 at half time.
Yeah, Kieran went 7 goals from 8. And then he missed a tricky one right from the touchline. Miskey scored, yeah, so he's kicking really well. I mean, he always has done for Wigan, but he's kicking really well at the minute.
Yeah. Half time. Obviously, I was at the gate, Matty. I know you were watching, obviously, in the airport. A lot of talk about the fact that Wigan hadn't conceded a try.
Whatever it was since
500 minutes, I think it was.
It was the. Did we didn't concede? Did we concede one against Salford in the final league game? I don't think we did.
So yeah, it was a ridiculous amount of time.
Probably Leeds at home. I don't know if we conceded one there. We definitely didn't in the semi-final or the final.
Yeah, a bit of talk of we'll never concede a try again. Obviously, Hull FC changed that with a minute to go. I'm sort of glad about this try.
Yeah,
you're not gonna go without conceding a try for a minute.
Well, I just think it would have been like, they've not conceded a try for 6 hours and they come into Vegas. They're not going to concede. They've conceded 3 tries in the first 15 minits.
Yeah.
I just think that's not the narrative.
I don't like sounds like that. I don't like comments. Just get it over and done with. You know what? Miskey, Kieran took a little bit of blame here.
That's why we got rid of the unbeaten season in week 1, by the way. No one talks about it now.
Yeah.
It's an absolute genius from Wigan. Absolute genius.
4D chess.
Lose on purpose. Then the Battle of the Borough thing isn't a big monkey on the league, but they're not trying desperately to win every match. We've got the unbeaten. It's just absolute genius.
Yeah. 4D chess, though.
I wish it was that, but never mind.
But yeah, Kieran can't really get out. He sort of gets trapped.
I'm not bothered with
this. From a runner. Miskey's caught a little bit in no man's land trying to deal with the full back. Good cut-out ball from Caesar. Finds the winger and he goes in to score in the corner.
We always say, don't we? Lewis always says, make him score a good try.
Exactly.
Make him score a try off a kick or score a good try out wide where he beat everybody.
Yeah.
You're gonna get an open up if they execute like they did here. I don't mind conceding this try. I'm not going to put blame on anybody. I think they just beat us there.
Yeah, just did better. Executed well. Now, 22-4 was about 10 minutes gone in the second half. We get a goal line dropout.
We force one.
We force goal line dropout. We're receiving the kickoff. We, first of all, are one of the worst teams in the league at recovering the ball.
We are absolutely dreadful usually at
short kickoffs.
When teams go short against us, we are usually dreadful.
Usually. I don't know how it's something you practice for.
You must practice it, but you must practice it. They don't leave any stone unturned. You must practice it.
If you actually look at the setup from the goal line dropout, Kieran's very shallow. French has actually come shallow, so it's something that they've recognised.
It's because Rapper has spent ages practising his short dropout technique with the drop. Well, and kept dropping it as if he was going to go short.
Yeah. And I've just got a question here. I had a conversation with my dad at the game, and I've had conversations since, and I still don't know how I feel about this. I didn't think Hull FC could score 3 tries. First of all, 3 converted tries. Maybe 4. I didn't think they could do it.
No.
There's still 30 minutes left. I didn't think if they get the ball back and get tackled on the first, Can they go 90 metres and score? I genuinely believe that the best bet is to just knock it long and hope Wigan make a mistake first or second tackle. And then you might have an attacking play at the end.
Yeah.
I just think this.
Best case scenario here is you get the ball back and nothing happens.
You're 85 metres from the try line.
Worst case scenario is what happens.
Yeah, and obviously the kick-off, Wigan compete for it. Kieran sort of goes over the top of Liam Farrell. I don't know how he didn't land funny, managed to hold on. Ball bounces, Tom Forward picks it up and scores. And that's just the final nail in the coffin. I think if you're a team and you're saying, we need a short dropout here to have a chance when you're 18 points behind.
That should be 78, 77 minutes on the clock and you're losing by a few points.
70 minutes. You need to change the momentum of a game. Let's say you're in the 50th minute and you're 10-0 down and you need the ball back. You need to change momentum. I get it.
I wouldn't do it in that situation.
I don't think I would.
No, I definitely wouldn't do it in that situation.
I don't think I would.
The only time I'd do it would be desperation. You need the ball back or else you are going to lose.
I agree with you. That's where I stand. But I could get it a little bit if you're maybe 10 and you need the ball back and you want to try something different.
Near the end.
You don't want to go down in a limp loss.
Near the end of the game, though.
Yeah.
Not
it just
50,
makes no
not
sense
50
to
minutes
me.
into the game, 50 minutes in when you're losing by 18 points. It's just stupid. You might as well just give us a try.
Yeah.
And if that didn't go 10, or it went out on the full or whatever, we'd have just taken the 2 and taken it to 4 scores.
Yeah.
So it's just stupid all round that.
And I'm going to mention, I'm going to talk about the football, obviously. I was watching the Liverpool City game and Liverpool tried a bit of a fancy corner routine. They got him a goal early on. And the commentators were saying, you've got to try it on the first one. If you're trying a surprise dropout, you've got to do it on the first one.
Do you reckon?
I don't think rugby teams can do that because it's so obvious when you're going short. And if you don't make it obvious, you do what Mark Sneed did last year.
Yeah, and you two men
both go for it, and you've not got enough men supporting. So actually, realistically, in an ideal world, you'd probably have 2 or 3 long goal line dropouts, and then on the 4th one you have a go at it. But you don't want to be defending 4 goal line dropouts. So it's tough. It's really tough.
I don't think it's necessarily old school versus new school, because I do genuinely think that I am quite new school in all them. I like all the methods. I like all the scrum plays. I like all these stuff like that. But genuinely, I think what's wrong with just booting it as far as you can and backing your defence for 6 tackles. If you get it to halfway, yeah, that's a big collision. But we see people drop the ball, returning dropouts all the time. That changes your momentum way more than getting a short kickoff. And the kickoffs, I understand it a bit more. A surprise short kickoff. I like the ones where they drilled along the floor and out on purpose.
I wouldn't even be against the team doing it on the first kickoff of a game.
No, first kickoff. A kickoff's different to a dropout, because a dropout goes wrong, you consider a try.
Yeah. Right, let's move on. 60th minute, 28 points to 4. Sam Walters with a big carry gets us to the 40. And again, this is that setup. This time it's French on the short side with Farrell, Kieran and Miski. Ellis at first receiver, Smith and Field outside on the left-hand side. And it's that perfect run. Rapana, the fullback for Hull FC, has had to come help out on the short side.
Yeah.
He's now facing away from the ball because he's got to turn and get back into position. That he's not there now. And this is just screaming alarm bells to me. Ellis carries it really well. Tyler Dupree.
I love Ellis.
He takes
when he does this, I love Ellis.
But look at Dupree. I want to give credit to him. Deals with Brad Fash. Takes Brad Fash out the game. He goes outside, out the back, to Harry Smith. And because Brad Fash is out the game, having to try and deal with Tyler Dupree, Cade Cust has to jump a man in. He jumps up on Harry Smith, who hands... It's not a pass, this, really, is it?
It's a set.
Yeah.
Would you say a set or a presentation or something? I don't know what it is, really.
It's just saying, listen, Jay, I know where you're going to be.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just put it in that space for you. You just catch it. You keep running, and I'll put it in your arms.
There was a thing today about the Celtics in the NBA. They could play with their blindfolds on, and they could still find each other because they've played together that long and they know each other so well. feel like our spine could do that.
Yeah, it's such a softly lifted pass, and it was similar to a try, actually. And I've only just thought about this in the moment, so I might get the setup wrong. Remember we played Salford about 2 years ago?
Yes, I know the try you're thinking of.
And we came to Smith at first receiver.
Faz was like a dummy.
Faz was a dummy. And we just... Faz drifted outside.
And we just popped it up
the field and went straight through a gap.
So
this is a similar thing. December.
Lee scored a similar try to this.
Yeah.
At the weekend as well.
December's flying through the gap, really running hard. Ed Chamberlain, what do you do?
Chamberlain is absolutely in no man's land, and I've got no problem with how he defends this at all.
No.
It's just impossible situation for him.
He's worried about December. He's got to come flying in on him. If December gets the ball anyway, he probably breaks through.
No.
But he just lifts it into Field's path, who's now got a 3-on-1 with the young winger. I think it's only his second season of Super League. He flies through that gap, and that's what I like to see. He's really put the afterburners down. That's telling me that he knows he's fit.
Yeah.
He knows he's ready. Finds Marshall. Marshall back on the inside to Jake Wardle.
Brilliant.
You can't. That's
outstanding.
It's just brilliant. It's so perfect. If you were drawing a plan up, that's what you would draw.
That's a lovely play, that.
Well, actually,
to be honest, right, we've spoken about Mago. We've spoken about who else did we speak about?
Field quite a bit.
Field, yeah. You teased Smith and you've teased Walters. We'll talk about them too. Who do you want to talk about now? Because we need a break before we talk about this last two tries.
I'm going to start with Walters.
All right.
Walters won the bench for Harvey Hill. He didn't play the first game.
But he'd been strong at Sheffield.
Been strong at Sheffield. Typically playing as a as a left second rower. Sorry.
Yes, although in the Super League semi-final, which was his best game for us, he was on the right side.
Yeah, but that was purely with Farrell being out.
Yes, Farrell was ill.
And December played. Now, December's still a 19-year-old lad. Is he 20 now? Might be 20.
I think he's 20 now, yeah.
Young.
Yeah.
In his second full season. He had a bit of a breakthrough 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's his second season.
Yeah.
And even then, he didn't play till Challenge Cup quarter-final last year.
And I've been a little bit concerned about burning him out. We've got him on a 7-year contract.
He's very tired. At the back end of games. Especially intense games like Lee.
Yeah. And just having Walters here. Walters came on after probably 25, 30 minutes for, I think it was Thompson. Played down the middle. Played a little bit at prop or 13. But we'll just call him middles.
I think he was a prop.
Yeah. They use him and Mago to ball play a little bit.
Yeah.
If they need. But then actually, because we were confident in this game and happy, we were clear on points. We're in the 65th minute and December's been brought off. We'll bring Ellis on, we'll bring Thompson back on, finish the game out for us, lads. Liam Byrne, finish the game out for us. Let's play Walters at second row.
This is what I've been asking for from Walters for a while, and it's what we saw out of Kai Pearce-Paul before he left. And it's coming on off the bench as a prop forward for 25 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. You give Thompson a rest. Because you could bring Thompson off after 20 minutes or 25 minutes, put him back on after 50, and that's him done. Just keep him on. And then using Ensemba in second row for the first hour and Walters in second row for the last 20 minutes. And maybe you need to spell a Farrell for 10. I don't think you do, but...
No, but you have the option to.
With this minute limit, you can rest Farrell for a bit, whatever. I think we're a much more balanced bench when we have someone who can do that role. And I think Kai Pearce-Paul did it to perfection. And he would still for me, for England. But I think Sam Walters is the perfect player from our current squad to do that. 20-25 in the middle, solid, make your tackles, run hard, move out wide, be busting through and creating, and be the menace that we know you can be to opposition halfbacks. And I think that's the way, I've said it for a while, I think that's the way Sam Walters really ought to be used. And
I don't think he can be dropped now.
Well, we've said this before, he's played really well and he has been, but I think he made a very, very good account of himself, and he made a very, very big statement that he should be in the 17 for Vegas. I know he was 18th man for the Cup final. He was 18th man for the Grand Final. Didn't play in the World Cup Challenge. I'd give him the goal this Saturday.
I would. He's in my team.
I'd definitely give him the goal this Saturday.
But to be honest, assuming no injuries, I'd probably go the same team. Because another guy I'm going to mention is someone who's took a lot of stick at Wigan. Liam Byrne.
If Liam Byrne leaves, I'll be sad to see him go.
I'll be very sad to see him go.
He's a target, I think, for some people. And this is not us being happy clappers and cheering on the boys because they give full efforts or whatever. This is not that. There's been players who've not been up to standard. But Liam Byrne gets a lot of stick for a player who does what we need him to do most of the time.
There's one thing for me about Liam Byrne. 2023, we don't win the Grand Final without Liam Byrne.
We don't win league leaders, that's for certain.
We don't win league leaders. He carried our pack for 10 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And he didn't even play in the Grand Final, did he, Byrne? He was injured, wasn't he?
Injured, yeah.
But that middle, especially around Catalans, when we went to Catalans and really dominated.
Yeah.
Around the time that we signed Tyler Dupree, Liam Byrne carried our pack 50, 60 minutes every week. It was a phenomenal effort. And again, last season he made a couple of mistakes. Obviously, he had the 4-week ban for his tackle on Percival. And people seem to remember that. I know everyone goes, he's got an awful disciplinary record. I don't think his disciplinary record's that bad, really.
No, he's certainly fixed his...
He gave a stupid high tackle away at Huddersfield in the first minute where he got that yellow card and picked up a game. Like, he's not giving 4 or 5 penalties away a game.
No.
I just think...
No, I just think that he got a bit of a reputation. He was an easy target for some people to boo and for some people to be disappointed with. And
well, he's not Luke Thompson.
No.
He's not Cade Ellis.
He's not Ethan Havard. But not everybody in your pack can be those guys. No. You need someone who's going to be direct and who's
make 30, 40 tackles, make 20 odd carries.
And yeah, he'll be probably the easiest out of them to be replaced. I do think he will be easy to replace, but that's not to say I won't miss him. And I do think, and look, letting him go might be the best decision. You know, financially, he's probably going to go to a place that's going to pay him more money.
Him personally, yeah.
And we said the same when Oliver Partington left, when Joe Shorrock's left. We'd like to keep these guys, but
can't keep everyone.
We can't keep everyone. You can't pay everyone. You've got the next lot coming up. I just think right now he's our third best prop. In my personal opinion, he's our third best prop.
I think he's fourth when Havard's
and I think he's, well, I think he might be third. I was counting Havard.
I was going Thompson, Ellis, Havard.
Well, I don't really see
Ellis at 13.
I don't really see Ellis as a prop. If I'm talking about middle forwards, which I don't like, you always like talking about middle forwards. I don't like middle forwards, but if I'm talking about them and I'm including Ellis, then yeah, he's third best now, fourth best when Havard comes back.
Yeah. Last set of players we're going to talk about before we mention these two. It's a Bass Miski, but I'm going to throw in Kieran, Wardle and Marshall.
The 3/4 line.
All 4 of them come back and made over 100 metres. Miski made 130, sorry. Kieran made 110, Wardle 110, Marshall 171.
That's ridiculous. And that is Marshall and Miski's game, but really, Kieran... That wasn't his game, was it, when he came to us?
It's not even really Wardle's game.
No, not really. When he came to us, it wasn't.
And I just look at them and go, I've got no problem with Eckersley. But Miski showed his importance with his metre making.
Yeah.
And it just gives us a 2 punch out. A little bit like Saints had with Makinson and... Who's playing the wing?
Grace.
And Grace, they could get metres. Or Percival could make some very good tough carries when he was fit. With both of them there, it's just that double edge at you all the time.
Yeah.
And you get out of danger so easy. Right, let's talk about these last two tries.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned to you, Matty, about scrum plays.
Yes.
And our love for a scrum play.
I know, we've not seen one for a while.
But you know what I keep thinking we do? And I can't remember if I said this to you or when I spoke to you on the phone the other day. To me, I get this feeling of we don't do much from scrums. And then every 4 or 5 weeks, we just show our hand a little bit. Or we can do this. Or let's show this play. Let's show we can kick from a scrum. Yeah. Let's show that we can just pack one side. I remember we took a scrum halfway through last year, centre field, and packed everyone onto the right hand side and just left.
That's so outrageous.
And I can't remember if we scored from it.
I can't remember either.
We might have just took a settler or whatever.
But it made everyone go, ooh, what are we setting up here?
Yeah, and suddenly you go.
I remember now, it was at home, wasn't it?
And if you're trying to analyse Wigan's scrum plays, you've probably got 25 different...
You want as many on tape as possible, don't
you? Yeah, you've got 25 different variations of things. Do you remember last season setting up with Smith? There wasn't been Smith, sorry. It was because Wardle fed the ball. And it was Smith, Field and French in a line behind the back of the scrum. Yeah. And both wingers just set out wide.
And then we just bombed in one direction.
Yeah.
That's impossible to defend against.
It was so crazy. And you look at this setup, Smith's key in all these because of how he gets round and gets into open space.
Of course he is.
But he drifts out wide from this scrum after he's fed it. Lehman gets in the ball. And he just drifts wide enough. And we've already got an overlap. We've already got an overlap of Kieran French and Miski against Caesar, Briscoe and the winger. Rapiner from fullback, he's got his head in the scrum, sees it and goes, oh my, danger, like, you see that, red alarms are going off.
Yeah.
And just goes, he has to get there.
Yeah.
And Field just pops up out of nowhere from the back of the scrum on the inside. And I've not paused it on this point before. But if you go back, pause it just as Field catches the ball. Aidan Caesar's already give up. Because he's seen it and just said, can't defend it.
No, you can't.
SASA can't get there. Even though he gets a hand on him, he can't get there. It's so difficult to defend. And Field just walks in under the sticks. And you just go, that was special. Yeah, that's just such a special play.
It's a good move, and it deserved a try. It was a good move, that. I liked it. And Smith, like you said, Smith's sort of key in all of it with the timings of it.
Now, everyone loves a try from their own half.
Yes.
40 points to 4 it is currently. Wigan on the 4th. 7 minutes to go. I've got to question why, as a prop forward, you would shoot out and try and put a shot on Luke Thompson. Yeah? Does really well with the right foot step. Gets the ball to Farrell. Quick hands to Miski.
Why Miski playing centre? Don't know, we just keep swapping there.
I think he'd come in to make a bit of a play, and this was him actually. I think he might have took the carry before.
Right.
And was just walking out to get back out to his wing. He draws his man. Gives the ball to Kieran, who actually shows a real turn of pace. Probably something we've not seen from him a lot. That real sharpness. Ball back inside to Bevan French.
As he moves, he steps while he's catching the ball.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
But I just want to say about Bevan, this is it with him. Yeah. He's had a relatively quiet game by his own standards. And walks away with 2 try assists.
Yeah.
And a try of his own.
Yeah.
And that's a quiet game.
Yeah.
Crazy. Right. Last man to talk about. Harry Smith.
The general.
He's the general. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, you might not know why I'm bringing this up. But I ended up in a bit of a debate over Harry Smith. He is the best 7 in the league.
Yes.
He's better than Mark Sneed, who is considered up there with the best 7s.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Sneed's a good player, but...
Good player. He's a far better defensive halfback than Mark Sneed. Just comparing him to the 7s in the league. And I think his game management is better. Anyone who now tries to say to me, oh, well, that would be a good 7 behind that Wigan pack.
The argument is that if you dropped, I don't know, Mason Lino behind that pack, then he would be the world beater.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Harry Smith did his first 3-4 years behind one of Wigan's worst packs since probably 2008, 2007.
Brad Singleton and some children.
Yes, basically. And he was still all over everything. His long kicking game kept us in so many games. In that,
I'm just going to send the link to the full match from the World Club Challenge if anyone says Smith always plays behind a good pack or a dominant pack.
Well, that's the thing. The best pack in the world is Penrith's.
He absolutely. We were dominated that day.
Yeah.
And you know what else we were dominated? I've just thought of another place. Ellen Road.
Yeah.
When Saints, we were having long kicking game every time. Good Friday 2023.
Yeah.
His long kicking game got us out of jail loads of times that day.
His game management. And
he gets things wrong with his game management sometimes, and I can live with that because he gets so much right.
I'm going to correct you slightly. He doesn't get it wrong in big games.
No, you're right, doesn't he? No.
He got it wrong last week against Lee.
Yeah.
He should have took the one early. Grand final, he didn't get it wrong. Local challenge.
He's still got a lot of rugby in front of him for Wigan and for England, so his game management.
Now, the conversation is he isn't as creative as a Bevan French, a Mikey Lewis, a George Williams.
No, he's not. No.
One, he doesn't need to be.
Go and ask those three what 7 they'd like to play with.
Yeah. That was going to be my point.
They'd all say the same answer.
They would all want to play with Harry Smith.
Yeah.
And this comes to my point about England. When George Williams is England captain, and I've got no problem with that.
George Williams is England's best player.
Yes.
Best back.
Yeah. Jack Wellesby is the best fullback.
Correct. Comfortably.
Harry Smith was the best 7. So much so that I genuinely believe Harry Smith was in the team before George Williams. Because it was George Williams or Mikey Lewis partnering Harry Smith. And I don't even think that's a conversation.
No, Williams is going to play.
Williams is going to play.
Williams is the man, isn't he, for us?
But that's what I mean. George Williams and Mikey Lewis can't play together.
No.
And if you're Australia and you're coming into a World Cup final...
But in the same way that Harry Smith and Lewis Dodd can't play together.
Yeah.
The same way those two wouldn't coexist.
Exactly. And that's okay. But you have to realise people's jobs. It's like... It is comparing apples with oranges. I know they're both classed as a half-back.
But they're
different.
Yeah.
Mikey Lewis played with 7 on his back all last year.
But he plays.
But he was a 6.
Plays a bit like a fullback, doesn't he?
He was a 6, a bit of a fullback, creator.
George is more like...
They've unretired that number 6, and he's took it straight away because he is a 6.
Of course he is.
He's a creator. He's in the Bevan French, the George Williams mould.
Mm-hmm.
This game manager, this machine, who's probably a lot of the reason that we are a winning machine, because in big games he makes us do the right things.
Yes.
And he makes us play in the right areas. And then says, Bevan, you go and do your stuff. Jay, you go and play. December, you go and crash over. You go and do this. I've got us here. You do the rest. And that's why he's so special.
You're right.
He's a lock-in for England, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually now think that spine's pretty much locked in. Because of him.
England's spine?
Yeah. With Wellesby, Williams, and Smith.
Yeah.
I think it's locked in now.
Well, you're not finished his spine.
Probably Danny Walker.
That's where we started to think, we're not really competing with the Aussies, though.
No, but I possibly look at a Brad O'Neill.
Yeah, maybe.
As a solid, whatever. You had Danny Walker as a creative.
Give it one more year and Bevan French can play for England. I don't think you'll beg him, but imagine that.
I'd love that.
Imagine the uproar if England played Bevan French and Harry Smith in the halves against Australia.
Oh, I'd love it. Right, that was a long section.
It was.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about the rest of the Super League. So we're back and we're going to have a quick chat about the rest of Super League. Some more shock results, or maybe not full shocks, but eye-catching results, I would say. We're going to start off on Thursday at Wakefield. Hull KR winning 14 points to 12.
Good game, this.
Really good game. Really, really good. Tom Davies opened the scoring. A Max Jowett penalty right on half-time makes it 6-2. Martin scored a penalty. Tom Johnston scored and Jowett converted, made it 8-8 after 55 minutes. Mikey Lewis scored in the 58th, converted, took it to 14-8. Ollie Pratt scored with 3 minutes left when Hull KR were down to 12. Big point to talk about this one, I'll mention it, obviously, just beforehand, Lachlan Walmsley been shown a green card. They have changed the rules, meaning that if you go down, whether you're the attacking player or the defending player, it is a green card.
If there's no... That's why I was putting a few things on report.
No foul play. So he viewed it as no foul play.
Yeah.
And that meant that Walmsley had to be seen for a green card because he wasn't taken off for a HIA.
Yeah.
Whether it was head contact or not.
I think 2 minutes is a long time, but that's the rule for a green card, isn't it?
Yeah. We've all been there when you've had a defender go down injured to stop the game and slow it down. So I just think do it to any player. Listen, if Walmsley had gone off for a head knock and gone for a HIA, then fair enough, bring someone on.
Well, if he was genuinely injured, you could bring somebody else on, couldn't you?
Yeah. But he carried on. The foul play, there was a couple on, I want to say, there was one on Mikey Lewis and there was one on Minchella that were sent on report, which means they didn't have to go off.
Yeah. Mikey got injured when he was scoring his try, didn't he, Mikey Lewis?
Scoring. This is where I'm going to be critical of Wakefield. He stayed on for about 8 minutes with a very, very heavily strapped up leg.
And they didn't go at him?
They didn't go at him once. Now, if I was an attacking team...
To be fair, he did kind of save a try just before he went off.
Yes, yeah, he did. But you know what I mean? First thing I'd be thinking is...
Get us in
if that's Wigan, I'm thinking, get December on his side.
Yeah.
Get Luke Thompson running at him. Matty Staunton could have been that guy who I thought had a brilliant game for Wakefield. He did have a good
game against his old team. He was an absolute stormer.
I'd be thinking, get Matty Staunton over there.
Yeah.
Listen, there's Tangan over there trying to protect him. Was that Gildart's side?
Yeah, it was Gildart and Burgess' side.
Yeah. They're experienced, so they will try and protect him, but I just think, get at him.
Yeah.
And that's not just because it's Michael Lewis.
Any half-back who's injured.
Anyone who's injured. If someone's in the line and you can tell there's a problem, get at them.
Yeah, and that's not...
And test them.
Nothing wrong with that. It's not playing the game, innit?
Yeah, it's the game. Ollie Pratt scored. Obviously, Jowett wasn't able to convert. Did give it a good try at the end then to try and get another point, but a little bit too late. Ollie Pratt looks like a great player.
He does.
Only his second game of Super League.
Max Jowett looks like a player who's gone away and come back
and got better.
Super League, as a Super League standard fullback now, which is difficult. It's the most difficult position probably to be a Super League standard player. And we were 107. And I think he's gone away into Championship and come back at that level. So
yeah, definitely.
Good signs for Wakey fans.
Quick one, 2 rounds in. What are you thinking of Wakey?
Well, I can see why they sold out the ground for this. Put up a good fight here against one of the league's top teams. I think they'll be alright. I think they'll be floating around the mid-table.
KR, not played great. 2 close games.
No.
4 points on the board.
4 points on the board and plus 3 points difference. So you can tell they've been close games. Listen, they'll be happy as long as they win a game. At this stage of the season, if you can get 2 points on the board, you've got to be happy.
It's going to be interesting for them now to see how they deal without Mikey Lewis, whether he's out for an extended period of time.
I don't know how long he's going to be missing. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know at all. Right. Warrington Catalans at the Luke Littler Stadium.
Yes. Look, much has been said about that. I'm a big fan of it.
I think just jump on anything.
We both work in education. Every single child at your school know who Luke Littler is?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. He's an absolute phenomenon.
Jump on it.
Transcends sport. And if he's willing to do it, yeah, do it.
Let's go to the game though. Artemog opened the scoring with a penalty after a late hit on the kicker.
He gave us an absolute treat. Ben Curry gave us a treat because he gave us a chance to watch Artemog kick a goal.
Yeah, he's got the smoothest kick.
It's so smooth.
But
they don't always even. He's not even the best goal kicker. He just looks good when he kicks.
I've got a question for you though. if you were Catalan, and Catalan end up going to lose this game, played poor against Hull FC last week, played poor against Halifax and only just scraped a win.
Yeah.
Dufty catches that ball and he's about the 15-metre mark.
You think you should have gone for a try?
5 minutes in, have a set on the line.
I don't know. I don't mind going 2-0 up.
I don't, but that's when you go. You do that when you go in. We're best team here. And we're going to make you panic. You go 2-0 up, we'll score, we'll go 8.
Yeah.
Different kettle of fish.
I think that's the thing, you have to then score next, don't you? You have to make it 8.
Yeah.
You can't have 6-2 down.
Warrington will have just gone, or we'll just score.
Yeah.
And they do that. Toby King, they don't claim a catch.
I miss Toby King.
I miss
Remember when he played for Wigan?
Yeah. Toby King gets the ball, scores under the sticks, Steelers converts and suddenly it's 6-2. Now, I will give Catalan some credit. Ligier scores right on half-time again.
Fantastic try.
He's a very, very talented French player.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it, but 6-6, doesn't convert. Would have been nice for them to have a lead.
Yeah.
50 minutes in, George Williams. Just so good. So good.
He is.
I love watching George play.
He is so good, isn't he?
Danny Walker, following up on the inside, takes it to 12 points to 6. And Matt Dufty gets his try about 15 minutes later. Steelers converts, it's 18 points to 6. Ligier scores again.
Yeah, another great try, really.
Converted, gets it to 18 points to 12. You know what I'm going to say here, Matty, though.
Catalan with one last chance.
One last chance. 35 metres out, I would say.
If that, yeah.
Scrum play. You've got a great playmaker in Luke Keary.
Yes.
You've got some talented players, outside backs. But Dufty wasn't in the scrum. Dufty had dropped deep for it. And I just think, just putting a bomb up.
Use that extra man, because Dufty's deep. Use the extra man. Try and get an overlap.
And then you can always resort to just booting the ball and hoping for the best. But he boots it up. Dufty catches it. And to be honest, I don't know why he doesn't just boot it straight out, really. Because it lets Matty Ashton get a clean shot on him.
Absolute shot from Desiree on Matty Ashton. Absolute bullet shot.
But I don't get why you wouldn't just boot it out. But that finishes 18 points to 12.
Yeah.
And Warrington walk away with 2 points. Going into Vegas.
Yeah, they've been good, but unconvincing, I would say, to get the 2 wins against Catalan and Huddersfield. They haven't been great in those 2 games, but they have been good enough.
Yeah, listen, I've been critical of Warrington of not winning ugly, so I'm not going to criticise them when they do. Won ugly, not played great, 4 points on the board.
What does it say to you about Catalan?
I think I had them as 5th in my league table.
Kind of 7th, and Lewis Adams 6th.
If they play like this, I think all of them might be too high. They could end up finishing 8th and 9th.
Yeah.
If Salford pull it together, if Wakey carry on playing well, I think Wakey a lot depends on injuries. They've not got the greatest depth.
No.
A bit like Lee when Lee came up.
Yeah.
But I would genuinely
You'd be concerned. Be concerned if you're Steve McNamara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they played Warrington, which is a tough responsibility. They've got Lee next week. Lee at Lee. It's not going to be easy.
That's going to be a good game, man.
And that running, I'm just going to say they've got Lee and then Leeds. None of them are going to be easy.
There's no easy games this year. No easy games. Especially away from home, there's no easy games.
Yeah. Right. Saturday, 3:00. Salford. Leeds win 32 points to 6. A little bit of a runaway at the end.
Yeah, Bears kicked this one off, didn't they?
Yeah.
Happy Mondays kicked this one off.
Kicked it off. Shorrocks, yellow card. He's actually picked up 16, I think it's 16 disciplinary points.
Might be 15.
For a grade D.
He's got banned, basically. He's the first one to get banned in this new system, isn't he? By getting heaps of points. So you get 3 extra if you basically cause the guy to get injured.
Yeah.
And he made Croft fail a HIA, so
I think it was deserved.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know. It's hard to say because we've not had loads of time with these new points in place.
No, if that's the consistent punishment...
What makes it 15 instead of 16 or 14? You know what I mean? Like, I think it was a bad one though, wasn't it?
Yeah, and obviously we wish Croft the best.
I think he was up and at some at the end of the game, which is good to see.
Yeah. Now, Jake Connor in this game got a lot of credit.
He did.
Played well, and I'm not going to say he didn't. He's got to do this all the time.
We've had this conversation before about Jake Connor. You can't judge him off this game.
No, you got to judge him when he plays Wigan, when he plays Saints, the top sides. I've got one for Salford. Obviously, they got the clearance to play everyone. The sale's gone through, which I'm really happy for. Glad the RFL took the time and did the due diligence.
Yep.
Did everything that they needed to do to check that this owner is legit and serious and not going to mess him around.
Mm-hmm.
You had 3 players play last week.
Yes.
And I don't think any of them played.
Bullock, Chan, Halliwell.
Yeah, I don't think Halliwell played. Chan was 18th man.
Bullock was in the squad, but I don't think he played.
Bullock didn't play. Obviously, Chan was 18th man and I think he didn't play. I bet him just thinks if they're the only 3 that have had some minutes under him, surely you would play them both.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
I don't know. It's an interesting one with Salford. They've got to get it right because they've got Bradford in a few weeks in that cup game. They've got to get it right before then.
Yeah.
That's knockout rugby then, isn't it?
The thing for these guys is the backs. It's a serious backline.
I know, but I looked and thought, is that Esam Masters and McDonald going up against Riley Lum? And Lum were fantastic. Dominated.
Hat-trick, wasn't it?
Well, I think he got 2 at least.
Yeah, I think he got the 3rd.
I don't know if he got the 3rd one, I can't remember. But for what I was looking at before the game, thinking that's an area where Salford can get at down that side with McDonald going against Lum. That turned the other way completely on its head.
Yeah, should really have overpowered him there, to be honest.
Should have done, but didn't.
Couple of silly tries from Salford.
That one where they just let him in, where
Bentley's interception.
I wasn't thinking of Bentley's, although that was a bad one. I mean, clever from Bentley, but you telegraphed what he was going to do. The one in the first half where they just carried him over and like Crystal just watched him score, that was a bad one. I would be upset.
I sort of give him a push over the line. I thought they'd held him back.
Disappointing, that one.
Match fitness, but you know what? They've got no one to blame other than themselves on that front, in my opinion.
True.
Right, Saturday night. Cass, St Helens.
Yeah, world beaters.
Yeah, 46 points to 6.
St Helens have, they've done a Warrington. They've won the league.
They won it earlier.
Earlier than Warrington never did, yeah. Week 2.
What I'm going to say is, listen, they've got some reason to be excited. They've not played great rugby league in the last year or so.
No, they're not.
They've obviously started scoring points. They're going to have to score them points against better teams.
They've got to score those points against the Super League opposition.
Yeah, because this is not the cast that pushed Hull KR all the way.
No, it's not.
And Danny Maguire came out after the KR game and said, I'm really proud of the lads, we've got to do it week in, week out now, and then I'll be really happy. And they let him down.
They did?
They played well for about 15-20 minutes in this game, either side of half time.
You were impressed with their new import, though, weren't you?
Or a Simbikin, yeah. Made
yeah.
A lot of good tackles.
Where was he? Where was he on the pitch? Because he seemed like he was everywhere.
I think he played second row.
Did he? He seemed like he was all over the place, though, didn't he? Seemed like he was in every tackle or in every hit up for a while, anyway.
But yeah, like I said, I was impressed with him.
Sailor was good.
Sailor was good. Listen again. There was a comment last week from Vossi over in the NRL that Sailor had got like so many try involvements against Salford, and then he got and someone just said to him, obviously, like he was playing Salford's reserves.
Yeah.
And his argument was to try and take away Sam Tompkins' tries from his debut when he was 17, 18.
Yeah.
And someone said, this is just different. This is a guy who's played NRL.
Yeah.
And he's 26.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking away anything from Sailor, but he's going to have a lot more bigger challenges. He's got to do it against Wigan. He's got to do it with whatever.
I think watching this weekend, a few Saints fans will be thinking Felt over Makinson's a big upgrade as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Makinson on quite a bit of money at Catalan, and Felt will be as well, but
It's the price, isn't it?
yeah, I think so.
One thing I want to say about Sailor was, obviously, there was a lot of praise for his back heel kick.
Yeah, the back heel kick.
Which is actually illegal and should have been a penalty to Cass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know the rule.
But it shouldn't be.
I think a lot of it is to stop you potentially. You know, if you like knock on and you just throw your foot at it.
I think it should be fine. Let him back heel kick it if you want. I think it was a good idea.
Well, no one knew about the rule.
No one knew the rule.
And it probably would have been given, and then someone said, "Oh, it should have been overturned." Like that was a game changer.
No one cares.
Saints still got a lot to prove, really. Cass though,
Yeah,
this is bad from Cass.
It was bad from Cass, yeah. Yeah, it was bad in front of road supporters.
After the performance they put in the week before.
Awful, yeah. Yeah, they'd be really disappointed, those Cass fans.
Yeah. Lee Huddersfield.
Speaking of disappointed.
Well, yeah.
I was disappointed with Huddersfield in this game.
Yeah.
6-4 up and you take the 2. I know I'm always saying take the 2. I'm a big fan of taking the 2. Not when you're 6-4 up.
No, with 5 minutes to play. Like Gareth O'Brien takes the 2 because it's on the hooter.
Oh, on the hooter it's fine, yeah.
To go to 8-6.
Not on the hooter. You get a set on the line. 8-6, you get a set on the line, you convert it. 14-6.
But again, they took a penalty after 2 minutes.
Well,
the second half to go to 10-6.
Yeah, 10. I don't get that one either.
Give field position, and then Armstrong scores and it's 10-10.
Yeah, I don't get the decisions to go for the 2.
O'Brien,
on those
clever,
occasions.
Takes the 2 to go to 12-10 and get a lead.
Well, yeah, if he's going to take the lead, you might as well take the 2.
But to go from 2 to 4...
If you're on the hooter, or you're taking the lead, or you're
taking it from one converted try
or you're drawing level, you're 2 behind, yeah, take the 2. And I'm a big fan of taking the 2, because 10 points on the board is better than... But when you're winning
the worst time to take it is if you're 2, up by 2.
Well, unless you're losing by 45, that would be the one.
but the worst time that's realistic to take it
is when you're winning by 2 points.
If you're winning by 2 points...
That is literally the worst time. Winning by 0, level, perfect. Winning by 4, yeah, I can understand it.
It gets you to a
winning by 6, good. Winning by 2...
It's just pointless, and it's ended up... They've done it twice in this game.
Dear
me. At 6-4 and at 8-6. They've done it twice.
Yeah.
One with 4 minutes left before half-time. One with 2 minutes after half-time. And you give field position, you've then got to make sure you score next to make it worthwhile.
Which they don't.
They don't score next. Armstrong scores 10-10.
Good try, that.
10 minutes later, it's 12-10. And...
They never look back, did they?
I don't think they were worried.
Weird one with this was Lee announced Ipape got a new deal. But it was during the match. They announced it. Like just a few minutes into the game where Lee announced, oh, by the way, Ipape signed a new deal. Do you think they announced it at the stadium? And they were just doing it like on Twitter after the game had started?
Yeah, it was on the screen.
Do you think they put it on the screen?
It was on the big screen.
It seems weird to me that they would almost bury that news in the middle of their match updates.
You know what I think would have been perfect? And this could go either way. Do you remember Wigan bringing Joel Tompkins out at half-time?
Yeah.
To say they'd re-signed?
Yeah.
I'm not saying do that at half-time because Ipape's playing.
Ipape's playing in the match, yeah.
But if you win the game, and I don't say that end the game.
Well, everyone's going out.
Yeah, but at half-time, we've got an announcement at full-time.
Everyone's staying seats for an announcement
at full-time.
And Ipape
then Ipape walks around and gives high-fives and claps to everyone.
That would be good. That would be good.
And suddenly, you've got 4 points in Super League.
Yeah.
You just beat your rivals the week before.
And even if you lose the game, Ipape's staying.
Yeah.
It's alright, Ipape's staying. 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. No NRL clause. No PNG team.
Exactly. No NRL clause. And Semba doesn't have an NRL clause. Bradley confirmed that yesterday. Are we genuinely nice, Jake Wardle? Are we genuinely nice seeing our superstars not going to the NRL? wanting to re-sign with clubs. Even players from the NRL are now wanting to stay.
I think there's an element of wanting to stay.
The Roosters were after him.
I think the big thing for me is if you... Let's take Bevan French. Bevan French could have gone back. Let's say he'd gone back at the end of last season. Won everything with Wigan last season, and he goes at the end of 2024.
Yeah.
He goes down as a good, great player.
To everyone else, to me,
If he stays and does 3 more years, he goes down as one of the game's best over
I think he overtakes Pat Richards as Wigan's best in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy Lulu. We didn't really sign him from the NRL, though, did we?
No, but he's in the conversation with Sean O'Loughlin. He's in the conversation with Sam.
Yeah.
Trent Barrett, Barrett didn't do it here.
Barrett, yeah, he's a past Barrett.
He's
won every trophy.
He's suddenly then he becomes not just was he a great buy? Did he do 2-3 years good? Great.
To coin a phrase from football, streets won't forget Trent Barrett.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that Sam Tompkins and Pat Richards and Sean O'Loughlin are remembered.
Yeah. So fun.
And Tommy Lulu I remember because they won things and they stayed for a long time.
But that's what I mean. He could have left at the end of last year, which would have been 5 years. Yeah, 5 years, I want to say.
5 full years.
5 full years. Came a bit halfway through 18, didn't it?
It was right near the end of 19 he came, so 5 full years.
5 full years. Actually, do another 3. Do 8 years and go down as one of the greats here. And listen, anytime you come to Wigan then, you have the keys to the town. Let's be honest. Yeah. Same with Jay at the moment. Same with the Pape. Go back to the NRL. Probably do 2 years at the Roosters.
If sees out this 6-year deal, then there will be an Edwin Ipape stand at least Sports Village.
But if he'd have gone, let's say he'd have gone to the Roosters, he probably does 2 years there. The Roosters move him on. He goes to
PNG team.
A PNG team who struggled to start with, or he goes to a team lower down in the.
He's retired before they've won anything, basically.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Here, let's say you can get Lee to another Challenge Cup.
Lee could be contenders. Lee have got all the pieces to become contenders in the next few years.
Yeah.
They keep all of the key pieces.
Key pieces.
And this is the start of it.
And you go down to being.
Lee could genuinely be contenders.
You go from being a good one, and everyone going, oh, he was a good one, to actually, you're a great.
Lee might be the first team to break up the 4-team monopoly.
Yeah, maybe. They've got the backing for it. But that's what I mean. And you look at players that move, and you end up being a good player at different clubs. And
speaking of regretting moving, Tom Amon is now playing reserve grade. Not even played in the pre-season for the Bulldogs. He didn't want to leave, was the comments. He left because it was the right thing for his career, not for the right thing for his heart. All this sort of stuff.
Then why leave?
Yeah. But it's a short career. For a prop forward, it's a short career.
No, I agree.
He's got a young family. He's got to do the best for them.
But, again, he's going to the Cowboys. He's not going...
Not Bulldogs.
It's gone to the Bulldogs, sorry.
I think it's Bulldogs.
He's not going to Melbourne or Penrith, who are going to win now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's gone there, be a bit part player, and Lee will look back at him, oh, he's a good one for them few years we had him.
Yeah.
Or stick around and be a great. Ipape could be in the conversation in 6 years' time. He has to get in Lee's all-time. 17.
He could be Lee's best Super League player.
Yeah.
He could.
But you have to do it for time, and that's where I look at it. If he could get Lamb for 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think they've got the tools to push on. If they can keep all of them two. This is the start of it.
And that's why we have the conversation about Bevan. Bevan could go down as one of Wigan's all-time greats by doing 3-4 more years and finishing at Wigan. Feels the same. You look at... I think it's Saints. Lomax, because of the amount of time he's been there. Darryl Clark, for example, might never be seen the same as that because he was at Cass, then at Warrington for 6-7 years, and then he went to Saints. You get it by that longevity of doing 10-12 years at a club. And that's what turns you from being a good un to a great, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That wraps it up.
It does.
Should we finish on Huddersfield and just say...
Stop taking the 2 when you're winning by 2 points. Try to score a try.
Do you see improvement? I see a bit of improvement.
Yeah, a bit of improvement. Yeah. But it's going to be a tough year.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. Yeah. I've run out of words to explain Huddersfield. I've not been impressed with the recruitment. Right. We'll finish that there. Super League's looking interesting. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I think there's a big event we probably need to talk about, so
maybe
we'll talk about that in a moment. So, this big event, if you didn't know, have you been living under a rock? That might be my first question to you. It's Las Vegas. We get to play Warrington over there. All the different conversations about has it took teams' eyes off the ball? How's it going to affect your season? How do you recover from it? In the NRL, these guys are playing a week earlier than everyone else, so they get a week travelling time back. We don't. We've got to play straight away.
yeah.
So there's big pressure on it. How excited are you?
I wish I was going.
Oh, I wish I was going.
But I do think it's going to be a big event. I think it's going to be fantastic even on television. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think, once again, we're just pioneers, aren't we, of
leading the way.
Attempting things and not necessarily successful. For example, I don't think the trip to Wollongong was that successful.
No.
But I don't think the trip to Milwaukee back in the day was that successful, really. But you can't accuse us of not trying anything. The game needs growth.
And if it works,
desperately needs growth. If it works,
people will follow us.
Absolutely. People already want to. I hope it works. I really hope it works.
I hope it's a great game.
The thing is, as well, the NRL wants to move into American sport. The American market. But as someone who follows a lot of American sports and has been to America, the timings are off. You couldn't follow the NRL in America because it's the wrong time of the day. You could very easily follow Super League.
Yeah.
That's a Friday 8 p.m. game is 3 p.m. on a Friday when you just finish work. A Saturday lunchtime game or a Saturday 3 p.m. game, for example, is 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning before the American football comes on. I know it's different kind of seasons, but before the other sport comes on. Sunday's the same. There's definitely a gap in the market that I have been and I have seen when the sports events take place. The whole East Coast, West Coast thing, if you're on the East Coast of America, there is a gap in the market for something around lunchtime. They don't tend to do stuff then. We could fill that.
We could be that, and we could actually get decent times to view.
And if the NRL wants to buy Super League, which is the strong rumour, then they're going to want that.
Yeah.
And the fact that Wigan and Warrington have come forward and said, we'll do this. We're going on the main stage. We're going on first. We'll go with Warrington and we'll put on a proper show. We'll show what Super League's about.
I'm glad.
Because the RFL...
I'm going to say, the RFL want to push it.
The RFL want to do this.
I'm glad. One, that we want to be the first game. Obviously, that's a big thing. Big statement. I'm glad we've played 2 rounds of Super League. I know it might affect us in that week after, where the NRL teams get a week off. But I tell you what, we got some match fitness.
We have.
We put some moves on. We put some different things on.
Yeah, and so have Warrington.
We've
got our defence up.
You know what I really hope we throw at them? If we really want to capture the American whatever, set plays from scrums. That's something they could get really behind, especially with the way that the NFL's played.
Yeah.
I'm not a big NFL fan. I know you are. But a lot of set plays and they move, and it's very coordinated. If we could show our best off at that, that's something that could catch the eye.
I think the block plays out to the wingers would be the same sort of thing, with people bodies in motion, confusing the defence. But also, there's just the speed of the game.
Yeah. Non-stop.
Yeah. The way it's always, you're always getting back to 10 metres.
There is almost a market in... There is almost a gap in the market for a quick sport.
I hope the play the ball gets reffed quickly.
Like, these games need to be fast. They need to be exciting.
Yeah.
As much as the arm wrestle is important in big games or whatever, it's more than 2 points, is what I'm trying to get at. It's actually an advertisement to the world of how good Super League can be. And
no red cards, people.
No red cards. Referee it like they referee Origin or they referee finals.
Yeah.
Let the game go. But you know what? I hope the lads love it. I hope everyone going watching loves it.
Roy Keane said something like, maybe they deserve a bit of, they're tough players, they work really hard, not much recognition, not the best pay in terms of sports stars, although, good for everyday folk, but I hope they get a good weekend out of it. I hope they get some recognition out of it.
I've got to say, how big was that hearing him talk on Sunday on the football?
Yeah.
Because me and you both know that Roy Keane likes watching Wigan, likes watching rugby league.
He likes watching rugby league, yeah.
We've heard about Ryan Giggs being at Wigan games, other footballers. We know about Bradley Wiggins loving rugby league.
The Brownlee brothers.
Yeah. But if you'd asked a football fan about, do you reckon Roy Keane watches rugby, they'd have all said no. Actually getting it on television saying, no, I love watching this game, is actually massive. I don't think it could be undersold how big that is. And I didn't know Micah Richards liked watching Leeds.
And that thing about Mason Mount and Harry Maguire doing all those passing challenges.
It's so big for the game. And I don't see the negative behind it. What's the worst that happens in Vegas?
Well,
I'm not even putting that energy out there.
No. We'll be.
You know what I mean? As a commercial point of view, what's the worst thing that could happen? You don't make loads of money from it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Got people talking.
The game's not great. Is that the end of the world?
No. Get people talking. Get the NRL thinking about Super League.
Yeah. One thing to mention, we're talking about the match itself.
Yeah.
Rumours of Burgess not being able to be there.
Yeah.
I think this just sums up the silliness of rugby league.
Well, America is really, really, really strict on that sort of thing. I mean,
why was this not sorted 3 months ago?
You get any sort of trouble for anything in the past, even if the smallest thing on your record, they will not let you in. So,
I just think, why was this issue not sorted 2-3 months ago? 6 months ago? When was it announced that we were going to Vegas? It was early on in the last season.
I can't remember.
It was early on into the season.
Yeah. It was before the cup final.
Yeah. And that means you've had 8-9 months to sort it. It's not like they've said to you, oh, you've been picked and you win in a month's time.
Yeah.
All the supporters have sorted the Esther's out.
Well, we'll see if he's there. We'll see if he's there.
Yeah. I actually hope he is.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game.
I hope it is. I hope it's a fantastic advertisement. I hope it's a great game.
Yeah.
I hope we win it.
I do. Just bring back 2 points. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
I would.
Right. Matt, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
We'll be back next week after, hopefully, reviewing a win.
Fingers crossed.
Anyone travelling out to Vegas, have a great time. Stay safe.
Yes.
You're watching it here. Enjoy the game. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, really.
Probably.
We'll be back next week. Thank you.